Okay, everybody, how you doing? This lecture would have gotten to yesterday, but my kids absolutely owned me. I tried 3 or 4 times and had to keep restarting, and then finally I was like, the good Lord does not want me to make this lecture right now. So hopefully we will have no interruptions, but I can't guarantee anything at this point. But anyway, so in the last lecture we placed the grid lines. And I've sort of, in the last lecture, I placed grid lines everywhere over the whole project. But for this lecture, I just wanted to focus on 2 areas, specifically this volume here and this volume here. So what I'd like to do is create structural plans for level 1, which will have footings and foundations information in it. Structural plans for, let's actually, if I go to, I'll have it open, south elevation here. So this is the volume that we're going to be working on. So we'll make structural plans for this one as well as this spine that goes all the way through the building there. So I'm going to make structural plans for level 1, level 2, and which level 2 is basically kind of the roof of this volume, and then roof 1, which is the roof of the spine. Level 2 also has its own level in the back volume back here. So that's why I called it level 2. So in this structural plan for level 1, we'll see columns and footings and foundations information below. In the level 2, we should see columns and beams for the roof structure and joists. And then in roof 1, we should see columns, beams, and joists as well. So let's see what happens, and let's see if we can work through this. So I've already created the structural plans, but I'm going to go ahead and delete these and make them with you. So like I said, I've kind of reorganized these grid lines. So this is 1 through 11 this way along the spine, and then A through J this way. Couple other couple other things I did was I put grid line 2 on the inside of the wall so that my columns aren't poking on the outside of the wall, and column 6, line 6, the same thing. 7, 10, same thing, with at least this structure. But this could have stayed where it was, but I'm going to leave it there for now, because if we were to continue on with adding columns with this one, we'd want to move it in anyway. So like I said, we're just sort of working on these 2 volumes, this one and the spine. So first thing I'm going to do is go up to plan views under view and make a structural plan for those levels. So that would be level 1, level 2, and roof 1. So let me go into the level 1 structural plan. So remember, in structural plans, all we care about is the structural information. So in this level 1 plan, we will be seeing the columns, the grid lines, and all the footings and foundations information below, which isn't on here yet. So I don't want to see the walls. I don't want to see curtain walls or anything like that, or floors. So I'm going to go ahead and hide those. So I'm going to go VV. And I'm going to hide walls, which we might have to bring back. We'll see how it works, if it will hide my foundation walls, but those might be under structural. And I'm going to hide curtain, anything curtain, floors, and roofs, and hit OK. Okay, so that looks good. So it's just grid lines right now, and then our information will get added. I'm going to do the same to level 2. Structural plan, I'll hide all the curtain information, walls, roofs, did this out of order, floors. Okay, that looks good. And then roof 1, same thing. So we'll get rid of roofs. I know it seems weird to be hiding the roofs on the roof run structural plan, but like I said, I'm just interested in like the steel that's within the building. So we can hide all this. Okay, I think we're good. Okay, so these all look the same at the moment, but that's fine. Okay, so let's add our, let's see, what do we want to add first? I'm going to add one level first, and then we're going to add columns. So I'm going to go to the south elevation, and I'm going to copy level 1 down 4 feet. So this all should be reviewed from last semester. And I'm going to call this one top of footing. Okay, just so I have that level down there when I make that foundation wall underneath my wall of my structure. Okay, so let's go to level 1 structural plan, and let's go to structure column. Now you can upload any column you want, any family. I'm just going to use one that's in here, and I'm going to hover over. So I need to do this volume right here. So I'm going to put a column at every, well, actually, let me just delete that one. Let's double check our, okay. I got the column set. I have a height set. Let's see. I want to go from level 1 up to roof 1, which is 11 feet. So that makes, does that make sense? Let's see. Level 1. Let me put roof 2. No, it's not changing. I'm just going to say, oops. I'm going to say height up to roof 1. Okay, I'll put 1 in. Now I'm going to go to my architectural 3D perspective here. Okay, so this went up to roof 1, so that makes sense, but we really want this to go to level 2. So level 1, top constraint, level 2, top offset -1 foot. There we go. So it's in there. It goes from level 1 to level 2 and drops 1 foot below. Okay, so back to level 1. I'm going to go ahead and copy this column to all the other locations for this volume. Do I want one there? Yep, I want one there. Actually, we probably don't. I mean, this is the spine running through here. I'm going to just keep going along here, and we're going to have some redundant columns in here, and then we'll just sort of delete them. And then I'm going to do on this side. Okay, so the idea is that the column's going to go, the span of the beam is going to go from here to here, and then all my joists will run in between here. Does that make sense? Yeah. So column on each side, beam going across, beam going this way, and so on down the line. So that looks pretty good for the columns on that structure. Now let's set up a new 3D view. So I'm going to go to my 3D plan here. So this, I have 2 views in here. I have the 3D perspective right here, and then I have just a regular 3D model here. Looks like something's not showing. Let me turn the mass. Actually, I'm just going to delete this view and make a new one. Okay, let's just make a new one from scratch. There we go. Okay. So what I want to do is turn off everything except for the structural information, because I want to make this 3D view 3D structure, so we can see this sort of build up as we go through here. So first thing I'm going to do is turn off and hide the levels. I'm going to go to VV. I'm going to turn off walls, roofs, floors, and any curtain walls. Okay, that just leaves the columns. So that's good. So it's going to start building up as we go forward. All right, back to the level 1 structural plan. Now my spine runs right here, right? So let me go to my level 1 floor plan for architectural. Yep, right there. So we want to get some columns to appear in there. Now I can place them in this plan too, so that's fine. I'll just do that. So what I'm going to do is grab one of these columns, right click and say create similar. I'm just going to put one right at the intersection there. Now I'm going to check that. Now that's going from level 1 to roof 1. And that's actually what I want. So let me just double check it. There it is, kind of in the wall there. Level 1 to roof 1, but I want this to drop down 1 foot to account for the thickness of the roof. So top offset, I'll say -1 foot. So level 1 structural plan has that here. Now, you'll notice on this spine, we have these columns that are sort of right where the other columns should go for the spine. I'm actually going to delete these ones and just use these. So I'll copy those down. Now I'll grab all of those and copy those down to column line G. Okay. I don't mind these columns in the space here because they're kind of highlighting the spine. Now this one column could be here or it could be there, but I'll just leave it where it is on the spine. So let's check our 3D structural diagram, and you really are starting to see it sort of take shape there, which is kind of cool. Okay, so that looks good. So for the 2 volumes that I've made right now, I have all the columns added. And in the next video, I'm going to do beams. And then in the last video, I'll do joists and footings and foundation.